every year coming up is PulpFest, and I know you
Yes.
and Jim go to that. Tell everybody a little bit about what PulpFest is for anyone interested.
PulpFest is an annual convention. Originally, it was in Columbus, but it has since moved to Pittsburgh several years ago. It is a collection. It's a convention of pulp buyers and sellers and dealers of original pulp magazines, and also writers of modern day pulp, like myself and like Jim. You'll find anything from pulp magazines to paperbacks to I think there's some video vendors there. It's just a mixed bag of people who just really love that whole genre of fiction, from, I'm going to say, anywhere from the early 1900s all the way up to maybe the 1950s or 60s. And then you'll have, like I say, you'll have the more modern day writers like myself, but they're very much dialed into that pulp aesthetic. Yeah. And when I say pulp aesthetic, because there are plenty of characters who aren't really technically from the pulp genre. There's the Green Hornet came out of radio. The Lone Ranger came out of radio and television. But I think it's safe to call them pulp figures as well, if you use the general term pulp in terms of a pulp aesthetic as opposed to pulp with a capital P. So yeah, it's a fun experience. I've gone almost every year since 2009. There was, let's see, they did not have a convention in 2020 because of COVID. The following year, 21, I did not go because I had a family conflict. My daughter was moving into her dormitory at Ohio State that same weekend. But other than that, I've been to every show, first as an attendee, and more in the last 8 years, I've gone as a vendor. But yeah, it's a fun time. I recommend it to anyone who's even remotely interested in pulp fiction. That is one of two shows that you really want to be at in the course of the year.
And it's not just the vendors. They have all sorts of celebrations of different authors, and they have talks and
You're right. There's the whole programming aspect as well. You've got great presentations about artists, about writers, about periods, about certain publishers who specialize in certain kinds of genres. They have in the past had guests of honor.